Let's start then with my two favourite teams in the Premier League. If you ask me who's top and second in the Premier League, I'd say Palace are top and Brentford are second for some reason. Palace actually on such good form.
Every time I speak to you, you say Palace are on good form.
I just love them, man. I actually put them
Why?
in as
Why?
low.
Actually, try and put it into words.
I think it's because they're a throwback team in terms of they remind me of teams from like maybe the mid 2010s when you would have a couple of players that sort of just do whatever they want and the manager kind of lets them because they're really good. But then they're defensive by nature, as in like they.
I hope you're not including Mateta in that.
I am, mate. Mateta is an absolute. Mateta is such a throwback striker.
No,
He's
he
just
can't. He's not good
big.
enough to let him do what he wants.
No, but I mean, like they basically lump the ball up to him and say, Eze tries to put him through on goal, and he tries to muscle somebody out of the way and take a dig. When he's on form, he plays like I want my strikers to play. Do you know what I mean? Selfish, big, hard, get stuck in, cause problems, and bags ultimately.
Do you like that he's got his
Eze,
shirt tucked in or not?
oh, I love it, mate. I love it. I can't get enough of it, and I love that he fucking knocks lumps out of the corner flag. Eze is obviously like a mercurial talent who just sort of wanders around doing whatever he wants to do. Ismail Assar, we touched upon before we came on air, but he's a streaky player, but when he's playing well, he's a very exciting player to watch. I think we both liked him a few years ago when he's at Watford. I'm sure we had a conversation once when we said, don't know why one of the top clubs don't pick him up and have him as a rotation player because when he's on form, he's quality. So I just think they've got good players to watch. I really like Manoz, who plays as a fullback. He must be mustard at shorter runs, him mate, because he's up and down that wing like a trollop Snickers.
Could do with him at United.
Yeah, you probably could. Yeah,
You want a non-alcoholic?
mate.
Mate, I literally. Oh, I suppose it is Friday. I asked you once if it was normal to have a beer at 3 p.m. even though it was non-alcoholic, and you said no.
No, it was like 11 a.m. or something.
It
But
wasn't.
my
It was a
views on that have
Monday. The
changed.
only difference was it was a Monday.
Right, so I'm having a non-alcoholic beer Friday at 3 p.m. and you're judging me. What kind of an establishment are we running here?
Well, no, I'm not judging you for the beer. I'm judging you for judging me.
Wow. We've gone full circle, all right. Palace against Brentford. We've talked about Brentford before, and I feel like every time we speak about them, we say something different. But the reality of Brentford is, this season, they've been a complete mixed bag, as in the form's actually really bad, but they don't play badly, do they? They're in every game. They score a lot of goals, especially at home, but they're definitely sort of tailing off a little bit.
That's a tough fixture run, that though.
It is. And the fixture run gets really much nicer from.
Outside of that cup loss, the only ones that they've actually had decent fixtures, Southampton, they won 5-0. They drew at the
Yeah,
Etihad. Forest are the best team in the league at the minute, probably. Newcastle, Chelsea, and then the last time Newcastle again, they won. And Leicester, they won.
yeah.
Anytime. I mean, the only one that I'd say is a bad result there is Villa away, 3-1.
Yeah, the reason, so Thomas Frank's come out, hasn't he, and said that when they were in the Championship, Brentford played really expansive football and tried to, outscore teams. Then when they went up to the Premier League, he swapped to a more defensive, pragmatic style. They went five at the back and everything, didn't they? Now he said that as of last season, they tried to go more expansive again and score more goals, but because of injuries, they couldn't do it. This season, they've just done it, even though they've had tons of injuries. Their whole first choice back four has been injured. They've still just gone ahead and done it, and I think you can see that in the results at home. They score a ton of goals. They had the best home form in the league by December, didn't they? And they were scoring goals left, right, and centre. But when they go away, it doesn't quite scale as well, and they tend to get beaten. For them to be where they are, 11th, with the injuries they've had and a complete change of style, and sell their best attacking player last season in Ivan Toney, just shows you how good of a manager he is, I think.
He's the most pragmatic of the pragmatic, isn't he?
This is why I have no sympathy for the teams who come up like Leicester and Southampton who are obsessed with playing expansive style because it just doesn't make any sense. Just rein it back, consolidate, stay up like Forest did, do whatever it takes to stay up, and then choose your style of play once you've got, better quality players, more money and whatnot, more time together at this level.
It's almost like leaving your ego at the door, isn't it? Like, just
That's
appreciating, I've not got
exactly
the
what it is.
players.
Like Russell Martin wasn't sticking to that style because he thought it was the best thing for Southampton. He was sticking to that style because he thought Vincent Kompany got signed to Bayern Munich because teams thought that if he had better players, he'd do a better job. And Russell Martin was thinking, well, I don't really want to stick around here. I want to get a better job, so it looks good to me rather than it's best for the team. I really like Glasner as well at Palace. I think he's an unbelievable manager. He's a real like similar
He's
in
a
a way,
real.
but I was gonna say, I was gonna say but he's so good.
I had one
But
non-alcoholic beer and he's calling Glasner a real one.
but I think I honestly think that he is one of the definitely in the top 5 or 6 managers in the Prem.
Right, what are you actually saying for the game?
I think Palace win
Two
this. I
all.
think it'll be like two. No, I think it'll be like 2-1 to Palace. I'm going with
It's a
Palace
tough
to
one.
win, and I'm going to go with Mateta shot on target.
There ain't nobody better than John Philippe Mateta.
So then we move on to Spurs against Leicester. At one stage in the season, not that long ago, Spurs were like right up there in the away form table. Just their home form, shocking. Look,
Home Arsenal are top of the league.
hmm
Away, nah, bro. Tottenham are fucking 15th or something. 14 points. Away, they picked up 10 points.
what do you think then? Spurs versus Leicester.
Mate, Van Nistelrooy's head's absolutely gone. Did you not see he was like, he called one of his players out for their boots or something, so now that guy's leaving in January.
Yeah, we've always maintained it was a disastrous appointment, and I'm glad to see it unfold like this.
Yeah, but it's full implosion level now. Like he won't last the month, I don't think.
They're going to bring in like someone like Wayne Rooney or Frank Lampard, aren't they?
That would be hilarious, but not Rooney.
And then
But
they'll
no,
somehow
Lampard's at
somehow end up.
Coventry.
Yeah, but I'm sure he could be tempted.
Yeah,
They'll
it
end
would
up
be.
they'll end up if they bring in Wayne Rooney, they'll end up getting relegated to League One. I think that Spurs in this one they're in danger of being knackered because obviously they played against Hoffenheim last night, Thursday night away, and they're already on the last legs anyway because they've got so many injuries. But I think if they don't win this one against Leicester, I think Andrew will go. There's no way that they can keep him if they don't beat the worst team in the league.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
It's a must win for Spurs, and it'll be a tired Spurs as well. So I don't see this one being a thrashing. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Spurs win like 2-1 and they're hanging on for the last 10 minutes or something. If I always overestimate how good Crystal Palace are, I feel like you always overestimate how good Villa are.
Yes, that's so funny. You've just like picked that up. I always think Villa are gonna fucking smash people.
Like
Oh, I
they
forgot
they
it's
got the
Graham
new
Potter.
manager bounce. Yeah, they got the new manager bounce under Potter, but they scored 3 goals from 0.6 xG. Well, then they played against my boys Palace, and they just looked the exact same as in couldn't create any chances, but they didn't score. The new manager bounce wasn't there anymore, so they just simply didn't score. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't score in this one either because they've got no Jared Bowen, have they?
Even against Fulham as well, West Ham they won 3-2, but Fulham battered them and should have been like 3-1 to Fulham or something.
Yeah, Paqueta is the most likely goal scorer at 18%. That is absolutely awful. The thing is, Villa's defence is not very good, actually. They've kept the same amount of clean sheets as West Ham. They've only kept one clean sheet in the last 10 games, Villa. And that was against Everton under Dyche.
Fulham, Man United away, man.
I have no idea about United. They just seem to be such a strange team.
No one knows about United, but what you can say is when they're not up for it, they're just big babies, aren't they? They
Yeah.
looked clueless even against Southampton for 70 minutes. Rangers, they scored in the last minute. They didn't look like creating anything really outside of set pieces and Garnacho cutting in and having a dig. And Garnacho might be
Yeah.
gone by the time this plays out.
I think Fulham will win this. I do. Yeah, that's all Garnacho ever does, doesn't it? He just
Yeah,
cuts
yeah.
inside on his right foot and has a shot. It's like his one
But
move.
then everyone says he was the most dangerous player last night. And it's like, well, it's a bit of a low bar.
You can see why when they had Garnacho on one side and Rashford on the other, because that's all that Rashford ever does, right? I mean, when Rashford's not on good form, all he ever does is cut in and have a dig,
When he is in good
or
form, he
just
does that, but just scores.
yeah, exactly. You can see why the striker never got any service.
Hoyland is. Like, we thought at the time though, it was such a weird sign. Like, okay, yeah, we needed a number 9, but it's like getting a number 9 in when the team wasn't exactly bursting with creativity and just needed someone to finish the chances.
You're
So,
going to do now what we did at Blackpool a couple of years ago, where you bring in a manager who wants to play 5 at the back. You sell your wingers like
yeah, we're
Garnacho
selling
and
him. Yeah,
Rashford,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah, and then in a year's time when the five at the back thing's not working because you've not got the right players in, the team's a bit lopsided. It doesn't. It works against some systems. It doesn't work against others. But you can't have any consistency. Like when we did it at Blackpool, we never won 3 games in a row all season because you might play against 4-4-2 one week, 4-3-3 the other, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But then you can't bail out of it. You can't then go right. Fuck it. We're just going to go 4-3-3 because you've got no wingers. You
Yeah,
can't move. You have to stick to it,
yeah,
and then you
exactly.
get a new manager in. That new manager has to wait for a transfer window to be able to bring wingers in. You'll have PSR issues, so you're not going to go out and spend a fortune. So you're going to be stuck in a rut where of your own making, unless Amarin manages to turn it around. And all the evidence so far points to the fact that he's going to be gone before the end of the season. So what you're going to? I go for Fulham to win this one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even think a draw as well. Like we're almost scabbing draws at home, so
Mm.
away, I don't think it's going to be much better at all.